Mother of God, it's all toilet sounds.
Let's start the show.
What's up, boys, girls, flying squirrels, friends, cousins, and neighbors? We are back again for not episode 1, not episode 2, but yes, you guessed it, episode 3 of Simple Man Talks. I am your host, Blaine Temez, and this podcast is once again fueled by probablypolitical.com. You can find us at our website at probablypolitical.com, our Facebook page at probablypolitical, and our Instagram page at probablypolitical as well. Now, with that out of the way, it is another Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing okay. Not a whole lot has been going on besides Joe Biden just throwing out that he knows how to be black, apparently. But just to give you the outline of today's show, we're not going to get too much into the political spectrum of things today. It's going to be a heavy week of content around me. So I'm going to lighten up my episode a little bit this week and make it a little bit more humor-based and a little bit more laid back, just enjoying some good, wholesome content. But today, in our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to get the politics out of the way. So Joe Biden this past week was on a talk show with Charlamagne the God, and I'm just jump straight to the point and say that the quote that what he said, and keep in mind that Joe Biden has said some wacky things before, so this is highly likely of him to say these kind of things. He said, and I quote, if you have a problem figuring out if you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And that is a quote by Joe Biden. Now, granted, he was, at the time he was being, before this, he was being asked, if he would consider having a black woman as a vice president. And this quote was said towards the end of the show. The show is called The Breakfast Club. And this is said towards the end, like I said. And honestly, is it a racist comment? I personally don't think that anything that Joe Biden said, and yes, this is coming from a conservative, keep in mind, folks, I don't think that anything wacky that Joe Biden says is really, you can't really pin that on him. I mean, look at the guy. He obviously, there's obviously some health issues going on, and it's just not a good idea. I personally would not put him as a front runner for any party or any campaign. Just to, it's kind of like what I mentioned last week about Greta Thunberg. I wouldn't put somebody like that in that kind of situation just to preserve who they are and how much life they have left to live. And I'm not saying Joe Biden's going to die anytime soon, but hopefully not. But saying that he has a lot of life left to live, and I would hate to see someone like that with the mind capacity that he has being slammed all over the internet for some things that he's being put on the spot saying, because running for president, that's a big deal, despite what you think. In other news, killer bees are back. They've been here already. In other news, there are actually an abundance of rats coming into the restaurants now that quarantine is over. The rats, due to restaurants being closed down, the rats have actually not had much to eat in the dumpsters, so they found their ways into the restaurants. So yeah, in a sense, it could almost be Ratatouille. Yeah, I know I'm not the best at telling jokes, but this is becoming a problem for some restaurants that are trying to open back up after quarantine, and they're having to deal with this rat problem. But yeah, that's pretty much the major headlines that I've been seeing this week. Not much really to say about it, but hopefully the rats go away so I can start going back to my favorite restaurants. Coming up next that we're going to be talking about is a little bit along the lines of talk amongst my daily life after work. Y'all are about to have the insight of what it's like to be me after work, and just some random shower thoughts that have kind of been going through my head lately. Take it as you will. Like I said, we're not gonna make today a very serious episode, so stick around and find out, and much more coming up next. Friends, cousins, and neighbors, we are back again for segment 2 of the day. All right, let's hop right into it, guys. So pretty much what we're going to be talking about this segment is just some random stuff throughout the week that I've found to be pretty entertaining. And yes, most of these topics come up after work at my neighbor's house, just because, you know, we may not be the most intelligent individuals in the world, but we do have some pretty good ideas. So let's hop into those ideas real quick. The number one idea that it came up this week is my neighbor, not saying his name for his own protection, has this bright idea that when he wins the lottery, he wants to buy an ostrich and name it Earl. And he wants to ride this ostrich around town. Like, it just blew my mind how a man could be so fascinated by an ostrich that I just didn't know what to say. And I just said, you know what? That's a good idea. And I don't know why I said that was a good idea, because that was just fueling him to only go buy the ostrich more if he ever won the lottery. But nevertheless, it's his ostrich. He can do what he wants with it. Not going to say anything. All right. Second thing that's been coming up this week is a lot of food. I've been seeing a lot of food on Facebook. And honestly, y'all got to stop sharing some of these recipes because they look atrocious.
I can't wait to have diarrhea in the stall with no door while 20 guys wait for me to finish.
And there has been certain points to where I see some of the stuff that some of y'all guys are going out and getting and to eat. For instance, I had a family member who posted this picture of this baked potato. I literally got heartburn by looking at the picture. That's how huge this potato was and how just messy it was. Don't get me wrong, it looked great. Like, I would devour that if I had the chance. But it was just one of those pictures where you're just like, like, I just really don't think I could eat that. But nevertheless, I actually enjoy seeing what some of these people are making, because it either makes me say, why did you make that? Or what made you want to do that? Or, you know what, that doesn't look half bad. All right, final thing that I've been noticing this week is a lot of people on Facebook in particular, these people have been posting stuff about killer bees, what was the other one? Killer moths and something else. Now, people, when you see these articles, don't freak out and start sharing it throughout the world. Actually click on it, because it can be clickbait, or it can also just be one of those gag articles like, the one with the denim cows. The denim cow one I see all the time, and I laugh at it every time, because the people that make these articles obviously are for a joke, but some of these people actually believe that there is such thing as denim cows. Just as those are the same people that believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Yes, believe it or not, there are people out there like that. Don't ask me. I didn't raise them, but hey, that's what it is. All right, coming up on our third and final segment of the day, we're just going to keep this train rolling, I don't mean to bore any of y'all with what my daily life seems like, but this is just kind of a normal conversation kind of episode, just to keep the mood a little lightened for y'all, if that makes sense. But also, I want to hear some feedback from y'all this week. What topics would you like me to cover more often? If you'd like to debate anything that I say about my daily life, have at it. I'm more than open to mention it on a show or include it. So yes, without further ado, coming up next is our last and final segment of the day. What's up, boys, girls, flying squirrels, friends, cousins, and neighbors? We are back for the third and final segment of the day. Yeah, we finally made it here, guys. Long show. Definitely know the feeling. Feels like a Monday because of Memorial Day. But hey, it is what it is. All right, hopping back into daily talk of what I usually talk about after work, etc., etc. Election season is going to be very interesting, because of the coronavirus, how it's going to be contained throughout the summer and then going into the fall, but also seeing how the coronavirus is dealt with, and then the Democratic Party trying to use that to their advantage to get Biden into office. Now, I was told the other day that keep in mind, this is just a theory, that what if, however, Biden got into office, what if somehow he resigned because of, or not resigned, but never, in a way got out of office to where the vice president took the chair. And then from that point, the vice president was supposed to be the president the whole time, but they had Biden run as the front runner to get them into office, which is a great theory, but doesn't really work like that. Sorry to burst whoever's bubble. I don't remember who said it, but it was said. Also, I just don't think that the Biden campaign can keep him from saying the things that blow up all over the internet. Because let's think about it for a second. How many things has Donald Trump said that he had to come out and apologize for? For all that I remember, he really hasn't came out and apologized for much. It's more of, no, this is what I meant, rather than I apologize to anybody I offended. It's not about offending people. It's about getting your point across and making your statement. That's what it's about. And honestly, if there's a candidate that can't do that, then I don't see why anybody should want to vote for them unless they're voting for the wrong reasons. But nevertheless, that's how I feel that's the things that I feel like should be watched for in election season, is how the Biden campaign is going to handle everything post-corona and how they're going to strategize against Trump. Because honestly, Trump's a loose gun. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. You don't know which way he's going to hit you. He's always ahead. He always seems like he's ahead of the game. That's the way he is, and that's the way it should be. But yeah, no, that pretty much is my prediction on what you should look for in the November election. Lastly, I'm gonna ask y'all to send me in some music requests that you'd like to hear me incorporate with the show. I know that I incorporate music in between segments and the beginning of the shows. And if you want to hear some more funny skits, like I did in episode 2 with the Joe Biden's petting zoo or the Greta Thunberg impersonations, let me know what you want to hear. I'm always open to doing something goofy and dumb. Like, I promise you, it's always a blast. But yeah, no, with that being said, that's going to be it for today's episode. I appreciate everybody listening as always. Check us out at probablypolitical.com. Our YouTube channel is Probably Political. You can search the show name, Simple Man Talks. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Probably Political, and also Twitter at Prob Political. So, and we're also adding Spotify to the mix. It's still going to be Probably Political. And I think I've covered them all. But again, thank you all for listening. And I know it was a really bland show today, but hey, it's only gonna get more interesting from here with the week to come. So with that being said, that is it for me, guys. I'm out.